Namaste. Welcome to biology class. In the last video, we were learning about some of the concepts related to heredity and its terminology. We also have learnt about why Mendel has selected Pisum sativum as his experimental plant. Today, we will be knowing in detail about Mendel's experiments. Before learning the concept in detail, we should know what characteristics are actually studied by Mendel in Pisum sativum. He called that a character is being expressed in two or many morphological forms, which he called it as an allele. So, a character can be expressed in two or more different forms or the contrasting forms. Such forms are called as alleles. Character is also called as a trait. So, for example, if we take a height of a person, so character is height, and this height, either the person may be tall or short. So, this height character or the trait character is being expressed in two different forms, that is tall and dwarf or short. Yes. So, these two are the different contrasting forms of a character height. Yes. So, those two contrasting forms are called as alleles. So, now we will learn about what are the 7 contrasting characters that were studied by Mendel in Pisum sativum. So, we will be learning about the characteristics and their different alleles. For example, if we take the height of the plant, Mendel has studied, this is one of the character which has been studied by Mendel, height of plant. So, this height of the plant can be expressed in two alleles, two contrasting forms, that is either tall or dwarf. Yes. The next character studied was the shape of seed. So, here it is round. It is available in its two forms. One is round, other one is wrinkled. Yes. Then coming to the third one, we have color of seed. So, you have the yellow dominant over green. So, yellow, some seeds were yellow and some seeds were green. So, these two are the alleles of the character color of the seed. In the same way, he has also studied about the color of flower. So, wherein the purple color, purple, and here it is the white. So, two forms. Yes. Then you have the next one, the position of the flower. Position of flower. So, here axial is dominant over the terminal. So, either the position of the flower may be in the axial mode or at the terminal, at the tip of the stem. Then the next one is pod shape. So, in case of pod shape, it is inflated and constricted. Yes. And the last one which Mendel has studied was pod color. Here green and this is yellow. So now the plant actually has different allelic forms or the contrasting forms of a particular character. So the height of the plant is expressed in two forms, that is either the plant is very tall, yes, the plant is tall, or the plant is dwarf, yes, okay. And coming to the shape of the seed may be round, smooth in texture from outside, or wrinkled. You know, when any seed gets dried off, you can see that wrinkled seed coat on that. So that is the wrinkled nature. And coming to the color of the seed, either it can be yellow in color, or it can also be green in color. Yes, okay. Coming to the color of the flower, it may be purple. Yes, so this is purple colored flower, or it may be white, right? Okay, so now coming to the position of the flower. Now we have the branch or the leaf coming from this position at the nodal region, yes. So if the flower is coming from this position where the nodal region, where the branch actually starts or the leaf actually starts. So if the flower is here, this is the place where the flower is. So that is called as an axial position. Otherwise, if the flower is at the terminal position, so these are the two forms in which the position of the flower can be seen in case of Pisum sativum, right? And then coming to the pod may be inflated, means it is quite smooth. Okay, so pod is nothing but the outer covering of the the whole bunch of seeds which we see. Yes. So the usually groundnut shell we see in that way. So these are pod. Okay, so it is inflated or smooth, and here we have a constricted pod. So this way, right? And now color of the pod is again of two colors. It is available in two contrasting forms, that is in green, yes. So that is available in green. The other one is yellow, right? So these are the 7 contrasting characters that were actually studied by Mendel, right? So 7 contrasting characters studied by Mendel. Okay, so now what are the crosses which he has done in his experiments, and all those we will be learning. Initially, he has started studying the inheritance of only one character. Okay, so for this, what he has done is, he has taken the pure breeds. Now, what do you mean by pure breeds? Pure breeds are the homozygous forms, wherein they have the homologous chromosomes having the same type of gene present in the same loci. Okay, so we will just look into the experiments given by Mendel. First, he has just experimented with the height of the plant. So, he has taken a pure breed, that is one which is tall and the other one which is dwarf. This he named it as the first generation or the parent generation. So, it is the parent generation. So, instead it was represented as P gen. Yes? Okay. So, now this particular height of the plant is being studied over here in this cross. So, the plant which is tall had capital T as the genes on its chromosomes, and the dwarf plant had small t as the genes on its chromosomes, homologous chromosomes. So, we know that during the gamete formation only half the number of chromosomes are actually present in the gametes. So, here we can see that if this particular plant, that is the tall plant, is producing the gametes, then all the gametes will have the gene for capital T or the gene for tallness. Yes, and here if the dwarf plant is producing the gametes, then all the gametes produced by the dwarf plant will be having similar type of gametes, similar type of genes which are responsible for dwarfness. So, these two gametes, when they are crossed, okay, these two plants when they are crossed, then we can get the offspring in this combination. Yes, capital T, small t combination. Yes, so this is a hybrid from the pure lines which has been obtained, and this he has actually mentioned it as F1 hybrid. F1 hybrid. F1 actually stands for first filial generation. Okay. So, these are the gametes. These are the gametes. And then you have this F1 hybrid which has been produced by the pure lines. Now, what Mendel has done is he actually started studying the further inheritance of these gametes in the next generations, for which he has crossed the F1 hybrids. So, self-crossing the F1 hybrid. So, he has taken one more plant which he obtained as an F1 hybrid and he has crossed. Now, interestingly, here in this particular plant, there were two types of gametes which were produced. Half of them which carried capital T as the gene which is responsible for tallness, and half of which carried small t as the gamete which is responsible for dwarfness. The same with the other hybrid also. So, 50% of the gametes were having the gene for tallness and 50% of the genes were having the gene for dwarfness. So, here when he has crossed these, okay, we will look into the probable combinations which were actually obtained. So, here the combination will be capital T, the two gametes coming into one. Yes, we will also cross with this capital T, small t. Yes, capital T with small t, and the next gamete capital T, small t, and the same gamete with the another gamete, that is small t, small t. So, again these are the gametes of F1 hybrid, and this is the F2 generation. Yes, this is F2 generation. So he has made n number of crosses like this. Yes, okay. So now most interesting characteristic is that what he has done in parent generation, he has crossed the pure lines. Yes, okay. So to all the genes which are present in this plant were tall, and all the genes present in this plant were responsible for its dwarfness, means short. Yes. So when he has got the F1 hybrid, he has seen that this plant is expressed as a tall plant. Yes. Remember children, we can see only the morphological characteristics. We don't know the genetic constitution of that particular plant. So when the plant has grown, then only he could find it out that that plant was tall. Yes, okay. Now he has taken the one more F1 hybrid and self-crossed this, and ultimately got the F2 hybrids. To his surprise, he got both the tall plants and the dwarf plants in F2 generation. Unlike in F1 generation, all the plants were tall only. Understood? Okay. So here you can see, if this is the combination, then probably it is the tall plant, and these two were also tall, and some very few were actually dwarf. Right? So with his experiments, morphologically if we see the outer appearance of the plant, if we see, he obtained around 75% of the F2 hybrids having tall characteristic, and the 25% of the F2 hybrids having dwarf characteristic. So he mentioned it as the phenotypic ratio. So phenotypic ratio. So what is the phenotypic ratio? Here the tall plants were 75% and the dwarf plants were 25%. So it is, the ratio is 3:1, right? Okay. So here we are actually studying about the inheritance of only one characteristic. That is why this is called as a monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross. So here in a monohybrid cross, what we are actually doing, we are taking homozygous individuals or the pure lines, and we are obtaining the hybrids. Yes. During this cross, we are studying only the inheritance of one character. Inheritance of one character only. So we are studying the inheritance of one character. So that is why this is called as monohybrid. Mono means one, and we are obtaining the hybrids. Yes. Okay. So this is called as a monohybrid cross. Right. Now you might be wondering why I have written here it as dominant and recessive, and specific characters or the alleles over here in the respective columns. Now here you see, when I have taken the pure breeds, that is the tall plant and the dwarf plant, I got a F1 hybrid. All the F1 hybrids were tall. Yes, all the F1 hybrids were tall. So here the character that is being expressed in F1 hybrid is called as a dominant character. What do you mean by dominant character? That is expressed in F1 hybrid. Understood? The character that is expressed in F1 hybrid is called as the dominant character. Okay. Now, tall has been expressed. Then what about the other character which is not expressed in F1 character? That is the recessive character. So, the character which has been expressed in F1 hybrid is considered as the dominant character, and the character which is not expressed in F1 hybrid is considered as the recessive character. So, we are actually studying the trait, inheritance of trait, height of the plant, and now we know which one is dominant and which one is recessive, right? Okay. Now here, when we go to the genetic aspect, okay, so here phenotypic, what do you mean by phenotype? Phenotype is nothing but the morphological character, understood? So outer appearance of an individual is called its phenotype, okay. Now what about genotype? Genotype is nothing but the genetic constitution, how on which type of characters are actually present at the genetic level, okay. So that is the one which we will be studying now. Now here, interestingly, you can see that both are present. Half of the gametes carried the gene for tallness and half of the gametes carried the gene for dwarfness. But only tallness was expressed, right? Okay. So here, in this particular F1 hybrid, there are both the genes responsible for tallness and also dwarfness, right? So that is now capital T and small t will be the genetic constitution of these individuals, F1 hybrids. So what is the genetic constitution? So, what is the genotypic ratio? The genotypic ratio of these F2 individuals, you can see that capital T, how many capital T are there? It is only one, okay, and this is again different. Half of the genes were capital T and half of the genes were small t. So, they are 2 in number. Okay, and small t, the combination of small t is 1. So, the genetic ratio is 1:2:1. If we want to find out the same genetic ratio in case of percentages, then probably capital T will be 25%, capital T small t will be 50% and small t will be 25%. Right? So, this is about the monohybrid cross, which gives us the information of the inheritance of only one character in many generations. So, with this, we can conclude that what is the dominant character? Okay, dominant character, and also we can get the phenotypic and genotypic ratios of that particular inheritance of that particular character. Hope you have understood the concept. Thank you.